when you lack direction, you'll kind of latch on to anything. A lot of the things that they're latching onto are the popular stereotypes. So you ask a lot of young men, what do you want to be? What do you want to do? What did they say? I want to be a rapper. I want to be a ball player, right?
I would say, you know what, when I come on here, we always talk about social determinants of health. And so for me, it is what else is happening in their environment that is exacerbating whatever challenge is already there.
What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers that's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And since 2020, our team there has reached out directly and indirectly to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers around the world. So as always, I like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. And before we get down to our very important conversations, some housekeeping. If you haven't yet and you're up to it, please subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. We just recently passed 1,500 subscribers. Thank you for that. We're now on our next goal to hit 1,600 YouTube subscribers. Also, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Also, if you want to advertise your business product or service on any of the platforms that I'm a part of, please feel free to email me at dr.vibe at the dr.vibeshow.com. And one other quick little thing. Let's see if we're going to do it here. I don't see it, so we're not going to get to it. All right. We're broadcasting live in a very hot summer weather-wise in Toronto. Like, I think with humidity, it got up to like 35 degrees Celsius, which is over 90 degrees Fahrenheit today. But it's also been a hot summer in a not so good arena. And just to pull it up here on the screen, you'll see if you're watching this live on the replay, here's a story. Gun violence is up 74% in Toronto following an unusually low year for shootings. So that's what our focus is going to be on today on the Dr. Vibe Show, home of Epic Conversations. We're going to talk about gun violence and gun culture in Toronto.
So I am a subject matter expert in guns, in the guns and gangs subculture. I fell into this completely by accident, and just to share a little bit of a personal story and why this is so important to me. 16 years ago, in Brampton, I was driving home and it was a cold February night, and I saw something on the street in the middle of intersection on a median, and I stopped and got out of my car, and when I got there, I saw a young Black man lying in the snow. When I got up there, I said, like, can I help you? And he's like, I've been stabbed. So I lift up his shirt, stab wounds all over the place. That young man ended up dying. I watched his soul leave his body in my arms that night. So he was 22 years old. And that really has tremendously impacted my heart, my spirit to, as a mom, to stop this madness. We need to stop. From there, I'm just staying within this particular topic. I also had the opportunity to work in New York in the music industry, specifically in the hip hop industry, where all of my clients at the time were either actively involved in gangs or had been incarcerated for gangs. So I learned a lot from the streets of New York. Going on, as we kind of moved on, just a little bit of my history. I've worked for the federal government, so on and so forth. But I've been working in this particular space. I came on as a volunteer with another organization, and immediately fell in love with this work, fell in love with the young men that I've privileged to help. So yeah, that's me. It goes further, but
Yeah, that's just the cover. We haven't even. We're going to lift off the cover another time.
yeah.
But from your lens, what are you seeing in the environment when we talk about guns and gun culture at this time in the Toronto area?
So in the year of 2023 to 2024, I touched 207 individuals, all in the guns and gangs subculture.
Okay, how many?
207.
And when did you sleep?
That's why I look like this. No. When COVID was coming to an end, as a matter of fact, I kind of started ringing the alarm bells that it was going to be a very, very hot 2023 summer in 2024. And that's what we're seeing now. What we are seeing today on the streets, the violence, the murders, the crime, that is the product of 10 to 15 years ago. So looking back with each individual that I've worked with, if you tell me what their particular offense was, I can tell you what their childhood was like.
Wow, that's big. Are you surprised that there's been an increase in gun violence and gun culture over this summer?
No, unfortunately, I'm not. It was expected. As a matter of fact, I think that maybe right now there's a bit of a lull, but no, not surprised at all. From the 207 individuals that I've worked with, sorry, I'm just putting some more lighting in here. From the 207 individuals that that I worked with, 97% of them are Black young men. And again, it goes back, there's a systemic problem. There has been a systemic problem going back 10 to 15 years. We're looking at somebody dropped the ball systemically. Okay, we're looking at mental health issues. We're looking at learning disabilities. We're looking at past abuse and trauma. We're talking about individuals in certain neighborhoods, and people usually say, well, you can't talk about the neighborhoods. Well, yes, I can, because individuals in predominantly, subsidized housing neighborhoods back in the day didn't have the same resources and kind of were in the box. So this is a lifestyle because it was the only thing that they knew. And of course, it goes much deeper than that, because it starts at the very top and they work their way down to the bottom and prey on those quote unquote disadvantaged young men and women to make a fast buck. Majority of these individuals, not just the majority, like when you join a gang, what are you joining a gang for? It's the fellowship, it's the family. It's a family unit to them, right? Be it good or bad, it's still a family unit. And that's what we're seeing today, is the product of 10, 15 years ago.
Before we go to break, you mentioned there's a lot of systemic challenges here. Is there anything responsibility-wise on the Black environment also?
From a racial perspective?
Yeah, well, systemic, yes, but I'm a firm believer that the strength of Black individuals is the Black family.
Yes.
So do you see through your lens, through your experiences with over 200 people, the challenge Black families contributing to this also?
100%. 100%. The majority, of them, we're going to talk about 90% of the individuals that I've worked with come from single family homes. Father is not in the picture. Mom's raising them. Mom's doing the best she possibly can. From a cultural perspective as well, you have, especially if they're the oldest in the family, even though mom, grandma will say, you know, I'm the mom, I'm the grandparent, you don't have to worry about from a cultural perspective. And they've told me this, not me making this up. The oldest in the family, oldest male, will take it upon themselves to be responsible for the family. So it's like, you know, I've got siblings, they can't eat. We don't have any food. We can't pay rent. We can't this, we can't that. There's no opportunities for them. What do? Even though the mom, the family would be like, no, 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 it's on us. They take that responsibility to themselves, on themselves, and they go and try to make money to help the family out.
Primetime Saturday with Aisha and Lala. Join Aisha K. Staggers and Laura Lala Key as they cut through the chaos and make some sense of the nonsense in American news and politics.
People are expecting Obama-level eloquence out of a man who's always talked like this.
Sharp insights, bold opinions, and a touch of humor. It's the show that keeps you informed and entertained.
There's no way that Trump is going to debate her.
Don't miss Primetime Saturday with Aisha and Lala. Tune in and stay ahead of the headlines.
My name is Jesse Page, aka Rude Boy K. I've worked with Nelia since 2022, December, where I literally knew them for 3 weeks and then I'm up on the news, you know, so
Wow.
we're doing big things in that way. So I got to go from a figure to a leader.
Oh,
So
dropping
work hard on it
bars.
right now.
Dropping bars. All right, dropping bars. All right, want to just shout out Dr. Tachi from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, who runs a great network, who I'm a part of in regards as an advisor, and also get stuff content on there. And this will be replayed on this network called Indie Soup TV. Indie Soup Media has been around for about 5 months with over 30 content creators, independent content creators, and over 15,000 YouTube subscribers. So that's a little bit about that. So Jesse, let me ask you, do you remember the first time you met Nelly? I want to hear what went down when you first met her.
Okay, so I was in the Kill Center, you know, former gang member, former inmate, you know, so I'm just coming out now. I can't even take those labels. I'm so happy to be almost done everything right now. So popped up,
Congratulations.
came out the pen, you know, came out the pen, trying to shed this off. I'm trying to take the program serious. I got a lot of literature that I created myself, so started working towards that. And then boom, out of nowhere, I'm walking past this little visiting room that they have there, and she's with another subject there. One guy who basically linked me with her, and also, yeah, and she's like, "Who is that guy?" Who called me in. We had an interview. Her and Doug are there, and they're like, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I want to make music." She's like, but then she's like, "Is there anything else?" Because definitely this is a dream, but it could crush. It could be literally the precursor to death sometimes. So she's very, you know, she's very like with the gift, right? So she's very iffy with the gift to make sure that, you know, you're placing it in the right hands. Because you don't want to look later on and be like, I'm the one who started this guy on, and it really wasn't really for him. So, but speaking with her, I said I wanted to get involved with the youth in the streets and definitely want to make a change in the community. Because I kind of I'm getting it together and I'm looking at it like I understand where it's coming from. So if I'm not speaking to anybody about it, I'm not getting the ideas back, and it's harder for you to mold that. So from the time I spoke with Doug and Nelia, like I just went back to my lab. I'm like, now I can finally look at all these papers. Enough time I lose my papers, like I get out doing in and out since like 2010. You lose a lot of your good ideas that you sat and made. You don't have time out here. You got to make that buck. You got to make that buck at the end of the month. So she gave me the opportunity. So now I felt like, okay, that's lifted off of me right now. This is what people need out here. Like, okay, boom, my dream is taken care of. I have a manager. It could be for anything. It doesn't have to be for music, or it could just be envisioned that way, because sometimes we idolize some of these rappers anyway. So you need a manager. So if you're gonna be like Drake at welding, please, you're gonna have to learn. You're gonna have to take it in. You're gonna have to have a great team with you if you're gonna open your own business. So now I told her that, and I told her I would like to open up a business. I have experience welding. Things are starting to fit for me. And now I'm looking at it like, the way things are looking at, like the way things are forming together now, I'm looking at being a business owner. So I'm looking at it like I have the workers. I know these guys. I know a lot of people through this little journey right here in the community. I am the community. I'm walking the communities around me all the time. There's always people in need, always people that need dollars. And that's not even just looking, and they're always getting those texts coming in. It's like, here's an opportunity. Come OT. These guys are got rapper money. Like, got to slow it down. You got to reevaluate like the long term. Are you rushing this year? Are you really trying to turn up this summer? Maybe if you waited just a little bit, reform it, and you're going to enjoy yourself for the following summer. So when it comes to the gun violence out here, when it comes from fatherless children, like I understand what that's like. When I first started, like where it broke off with me and my father, rest in peace, he just died a couple of weeks ago.
Well, Mike,
where it fell off.
Condolences.
Where thank you. Where it fell off is like it was just him trying to make things like really like effective for us afterwards, you know. So I'm looking at things deeply. Like I know he tried to create the home for us, but it caused him to have to do night shift to where I'm not seeing him in the daytime, and I'm after school. I don't have to come and salute him at the couch at the end of the day. He's not there for me. So like I took it like that, and I try to embellish that phrase right there. He's not there for me. But I always in the back of my head, I'm like, you know better. The time you had with him was effective. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't have a father. Like, are you stupid? I've sat down in there and I've heard all the fatherless families of people who don't even have parents or foster homes. It's deeper than what I experienced.
Yeah.
I rap. I try to make some relevant comments to refer to that, to give people the story and or opportunity to feature with me. So I've been dealing with the charges and stuff, and now I'm working on things to try and make my own business pop, make my own dream come off of my chest finally. Because I'm 36 now. I've been dreaming for like all 16 years, maybe even earlier, to do this, and it hasn't popped. So if I can effectuate this for other people, that's much more fulfilling.
Wow.
So when it comes to fatherless Toronto,
Mm.
when it comes to fatherless Toronto, like that's the subject. That's how she introduced this right now. So when the way it comes right now is that if you're not there for your children, you're not developing the right, you know, symbols, like your opinion to certain things. And we always talk about people in the family. It could be the community that's systemic, but it's also like damaged people in the family. Why are they so damaged for so many years? There's an overlap in intelligence right now for children, to where it's like, okay, now we're gonna have to try and lasso them back.
Wow.
Because they're gone farther and they're actually like looking at us like we don't know nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So popping out here, just from my perspective, after doing 15 years in prison, I'm like, if I don't do it, like the way I was looking and the type of stuff, even on the radio I heard this morning, like the type of stuff that we do to each other as Black men, I'm going to get at your girl. I'm going to take your things. I'm going to crush your career. I'm going to cancel the shit out of you and your family. Please excuse my French.
That's okay.
It's after 9.
It's okay. Just be yourself.
So when you're looking at it like, who's my brothers, who's my role models, like some people don't want that. Some people don't want to take that help because there's also in the back of their head, it's instilled that you could be getting sunned, co-walled. It's in the culture, it's in the slang. It's like, this is what we're doing to each other. Oh, like what? Look at this guy. Like there's plenty of different things. I don't even want to repeat it because then I would just be adding to the sickness itself. So that's in family, that's friends, that's community, that's in your music, that's in, because right now we're in Toronto, we're getting a huge boost on like what we are and what our slang is. It's digging deep. So people want to know, but are we really the type to just downplay? It's just like here, the next man, even though we only have such a small population. You
Well,
know, never mind the industry and the distraction.
Yeah, a lot. Well, look, first and foremost, thank you for sharing, and more important than that, condolences on the loss of your father.
You know, this is huge for me. I have no clue. People need this opportunity. A lot more people need this opportunity.
So for both of you, I know Nelia, you talked about it, and also you talked about it. What, from your lens, what are the main factors contributing to gun violence and gang activity in Toronto? You've talked some about it, But is there any more factors other than the ones that we
Like
talked about already?
one that would stand out. And Nelly, if you want to go first.
Sure. So we have, again, a lack of health care, appropriate health care. We have lack of opportunity. We have lack of homes, lack of jobs. We have lack of money, lack of family, lack of real. And I think Jesse could probably attest to this. That's the key word, is real. These individuals that I work with are not, to me, they're all my kids. I don't care if they're 40. I don't care if they're 20. I don't care if the youngest is 18. These are like my kids. And I hate to say, yes, you're saying kids, but to me, that's what they are. They're in my heart. I get so much from them. And in order to do this type of work, you need to understand the subculture. You need to not just understand the culture itself, as in the race, but you need to have a full understanding of the guns and gangs subculture. So you need that cultural or subculturally cultural competency. This is a 24/7 job, because these guys, when they put that trust into me, they know 24/7. If I need to call you at 3:00 in the morning, I'll call you. It's one of yours birthday. It's one of their birthdays. And they can all tell you while they're inside or prior to going inside, they've got friends. As long as they're giving out and helping and whatever, it's friends. When they come out, that's a little bit of a different story. And that's why you kind of see that revolving door, right? You need to treat them as family. You need to treat them, be able to bring them into your circle, expose them to things that they would never be exposed, would never have the chance to be exposed to.
Yes.
And the tough love, because Jesse can tell you 100%, there's no games played here. But they also know that, we're not here to as a get out of jail free card. No, you want to commit to changing your life. You want to commit to opportunities. 100%. You've got it. And I'm committing myself to them. And that means bringing them in.
Yeah. It's not like a free for all type of,
Yeah.
You
want to add anything, Jesse? Because I've got a number of conversations. Go ahead.
Yeah. So just going through the program, it's not a free for all. It's not like, you're gonna have everything. You have to work for what you're gonna get. But what you're gonna get is going to be right in your lane, like exactly where you're looking for, the funding you need, the literature you need, the financial management, because that's the one thing people are stressing is that dollar. So it's that paper. So you're looking at things like what is effectuating, like a push towards more gun violence right now. It's definitely the economy. It's definitely that feeling of I don't have, they have, and it's forcing people to feel. And of course, you're gonna see a lot of depressive stuff, like just imagery, whether it's in your mind or it's on TV or it's out on the road and you're seeing people dying off of this substance that's out there now. So you're looking at it look, the world's coming to an end. No, but deep depression and Black mental health is exactly what we're speaking about here, and exactly what my father's gone through. And I always felt like if I don't do something to change where the DNA is moving forward, where the species is going forward, I'm failing all that comes after me. So when it comes to the children, my family, they're all looking like, what's this guy gonna do? What am I gonna wear this suit right here? This way to come see you for 20 minutes?
Wow.
That's my reminder. That's my reminder right there. I'm never putting that on again, unless it's for an event, Halloween.
All right. Just to catch up some comments, some family here. Teddy Evans said, good to see you, Ted. Good evening. I commend your strength and goals to give back to the community and help others not to go down the road you went down. You're a vessel to be used for God's will to help others. He also says, my condolences go out for your loss of your father.
Thank you.
And
Thanks, Ted. Thanks, Ted.
and he also says, Dr. Vibe, no problem. I'll take the VIV. I'm doing well. I'm here to get some nuggets from your shows also. And also he says, I love your attitude, Jesse.
Thank you.
I
Appreciate it.
want to ask Anelia, I'm going to let Jesse go first. How much with many people in this culture, they've lost hope?
Oh, yeah.
Can you
It's also
share
gonna be
about that?
Yeah. Nelia, go ahead.
No, I want you to go first this time.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
I want you to go
It's more
first.
like,
Yeah.
it's those, like, if you could be shy or something and you're popping up, like I used to be, like, quiet Capricorn, like people say Capricorns are soft and they're reserved and they take the opportunity like 10, 20 years down the road. So I guess that's what happened in here. But looking at it, like, I'm not going to close my mouth to things or people saying the wrong type of thing, like, oh yeah, okay, 30 years old, or if you don't do that now, it's over type of deal. Like, oh, the drive stops here, the testosterone stops here. Like, please, like, you're a human being, you got a spine. If you keep, working towards things, the more damage comes towards you, the stronger you will be. So you just got to go out there and brave the comets, like you got to be galactic with this demonstration. So if you feel that you're the type of person that's going to take other people's opinions serious and it's going to apply to your life, that's impossible. You guys are completely different chromosomes. So why follow these guys? Why do I dress and move how I move? And why am I sitting in this guy's jail cell? Like,
let me tell you
get his
something.
name on the wall.
I think you're missing your calling. I think you need to be a comedian because you got some real good. I think that you got some really good nuggets there. I think I see some comedic stuff in there, in a good way, by the way. Nelia, what about the whole aspect of help with all these individuals?
I'm sorry.
What about the whole area of individuals in this culture not having any more hope?
Yeah.
That is one thing that they have is hope. That is one thing. And you can speak to all 200 of them and they'll tell you it's always like at first. Jesse is the first time that I met Jesse again at the Keel Center, and he had, let's face it, Jesse, gang member, right? And looked the part. 100%, right? Look at Jesse now. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And that's always, and I always tell them, I don't mean to preach, but you don't need to be doing this because there's somebody at the top that's making, and I'm going to speak the way that I speak because real is real. Somebody at the top that's making a ton of money off you guys at the bottom. Yeah. And while they're going on their vacations and whatnot, you're going in there, or you're going to end up dying or disabled.
Yeah. And my message to these youth now is like they just built a new court downtown Toronto College. I think it's on College or somewhere, but I think they tore that one down and built a new one. Those benches are like 4 feet. I don't know how you expect to stretch out. We got some basketball players in the city. We got all type of sizes, but you could choose to sleep on the floor, or you're gonna be there from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. maybe later if there's trials going on. So 4 foot, you can't outstretch your legs, nothing. So you could choose to either lay on the floor, awaiting some emotional issue because it starts from the emotion. So if the emotion goes through your mind and it's unleashed the thought, the thought has unleashed a chemical which drives you to go and do a crime. Like, I hope you're thinking twice about like not being able to have the same back strength, hip strength, physical drive that you did when you're an athlete coming out. Like you ready to pull something right now? You're gonna live in concrete. Canada's not like the States. You're not getting that type of violence, but there's, of course, guns and gangs and definitely the economy, systemic racism, and the anger in this city. You could be expressed on you. Definitely, you can come face to face with the Canadian difference, right?
Has the community, and I always get leery because I don't know if there's a community out there, but has a community from your lens in some way let some of these individuals down?
Ouch. I'm going to, they have. However, I don't think that they've let them down purposely or with malintent. Again, we have to look at it from, two lenses. So if we're speaking about Black young men, so they have the racial aspect, they're Black. What there is a disconnect in is, again, that subculture. So we've got the culture, the Black culture, the whatever, we've got that figured out. So the community members are wonderful with that. But it's getting that connection to the subculture of these individuals. It's letting them in. It's the guidance. It's giving them the opportunity. It's giving them the 24/7. And, my heart breaks on a daily basis with the stories that I hear. Each one of these individuals has a story. My heart breaks daily. And that's why I fight. They know, they can all tell you, I fight so hard for them. It's their voices. It's like, okay, if I can scream and yell and whatever, and I'm using, I don't care. People are like, well, you're white. It's like, okay, fine. Let me use my white privilege to help them. I don't care. If that's what you're going to say, fine. Let me use it, be it whatever. I don't care about that. I care about them. Because until you watch one of them die, somebody's son die in your arms, you don't understand. Until you, I have to tell you, I'm going to speak for the Canadian guns and gangs subculture. Our guys, oh my gosh, they are intelligent. They are articulate. There is a difference between our young men in Canada and the ones in the United States. It's almost like night and day. So we really, truly need to not allow Canada to get to the point of where the United States is. Because what you're looking at is we have, and sorry, I don't like to call them this. We call them justice involved individuals, if you want a term in the label, but we're looking at first generation, quote unquote, criminals. That's what people, right? Whereas in the United States, you're looking at second and third, right? So it kind of comes, and we need to break that chain. We need to break the cycle right now. And it takes every single one of us, because even though, I'm white, some of them may be Black, some of them may be Chinese or whatever. And, even though I'm sitting here in my home, this affects all of us as a human being, as citizens living in the community. Like, these are humans. These are young men who were given a bad, bad rap in life. And their stories and are heartbreaking. And what we're going to see is this generation of young Black men either be incarcerated for the rest of their life, dead, or disabled. And everybody together needs to step in, because we can't watch a generation of young Black men just die.
Do both of you see younger and younger people getting involved in gangs?
So much, yeah. Is it just, oh man, it's bad. They can't even put your finger on it.
And females. Yeah, we're seeing a lot more females. The reason for that is because, our Young Offenders Act. So when you have some of the repeat offenders or some of the quote unquote OGs, they'll start to turn to younger and younger because they know that they won't do the time. Same with females.
Yeah.
You know,
Our our OGs, like our OGs right now are the TIAC guys, the YO jail, which was more like an adult jail back then. Hella lawsuits for the children of those years, and things are coming back through Koski and Minsky. And then so now my era was Hamilton and Brookside. Those ones are built shortly after. So then you have now it's the Roy. So the Roy is school bell rings, you could be running into your ops, your opposition, your enemies. So you're not really motivated for school. You're focused on, who's gonna try and do you something at school. So dynamics crazy. I took a picture in front of there with Richard last year. So that's the aim. Now that I'm coming towards the end of my stuff now, I could start getting a pardon and pop up in there and say hello. Hey, don't worry, it ain't over, because a lot of them think like, okay, you can't go over the border. I'll never be able to enjoy that stuff or any type of Disneyland, any type of LA stuff, any type of New York, American, or any trips to the UK stuff. And they're in their mind, they're like, okay, I can't do this. I'm giving up, and they have nothing in their mind. If they've been blocking it out with either drugs, alcohol, music, girls, homies, like they don't have those thoughts to say, you know what, it ain't over. Are you crazy? But it's not going to come from anywhere if it hasn't been demonstrated at all, or there's nobody out in the community. Just, hitting them on the shoulder. Hey, how's it going? How you doing? Like, let some stuff off your chest because it's bottling up and it's coming out the end of nozzles out on the road. So unnecessary violence out here when it could have been like thwarted a little bit. Now it's just on the increase, 74%.
Yeah. For both of you, there's so many different conversation pieces I have here. So let me look at it this way. What needs to be done with the justice system?
Sorry, I missed the first part of that.
No, what do you feel? Where are the opportunities to improve the justice system in regards to this?
Rehabilitation, and not incarceration. And I say that, and people are like, "What do you mean?" Right? We need to have diversion programs. I always tell families, your son is a different person. He is a different person going in, and he's going to be a different person than he was. He's a different person coming out than he was going in. Because if you go into jail,
that's what it is,
and you weren't a criminal or anything, or didn't have criminal tendencies to begin with, you certainly will when you come out. So we really, and again, they're systemically, and from resources, there is so much that could be done to prevent what we're seeing right now on the streets. So much.
Nelia, I know you also have communications with people in government.
Yes.
Do you want to share any thoughts on where they could maybe do better?
This isn't just, as far as the government is concerned, this isn't just like with a public safety Canada issue. This is across all cabinets, if you will. This is across all, this is across all sectors. They need to work together because there are so many, they're dropping the ball at so many levels, right? You're talking that it needs to be in collaboration with Health Canada, in collaboration with, Public Safety Canada, Justice Canada, because again, if you break it all down, there is just so much that contributed to this at the government level. And it's very easy. It's a very easy fix, believe it or not. When I hear Doug Ford say, "Oh, I'll build more jails," dude, that's not what we need. We don't need more jails. We need programs. We need holistic programs. I'm not
Yeah.
talking about like just after school basketball games. That's not what I'm
Mhm.
talking about. The conversations that we have, they need that person, that trusting person. They need somebody to bring them in. And let me tell you something about these guys. They can see right through, because you have to understand they were, the fight or flight. They needed to survive. These are intelligent, intellectual individuals, right? And they can also cut through and see through the, excuse my language.
Anything you want to add?
Yeah, like definitely, like even just me being in the program, there's younger cats, and they're looking at you like, yeah, they got you figured out, like, but at the same time, they're here to look and to push their brand. So we were in the studio and stuff like that, and it's just like, we're all trying to get on the mic, we're all trying to make a plan, but it was just like, how did this come out of nowhere? Like these creative minds right now just came together to make this stuff right now, the stuff that we have Locked and Key. It was insane. And I'm like, what? Like, some people are singing, and I'm like, this is like the Isley Brothers. Like, where'd you guys get that? You guys weren't even around for that.
Oh my goodness. Man, I've heard the Isley Brothers mentioned a long time, especially from someone who's much younger than probably I am. So I respect there. That is big respect. What's the most challenging part of it all for each one of you?
The most challenging part for me is, again, the lack of resources that we have to be able to help. Like, I mean, you have individuals coming out of jail, some of them don't eat for like a week. Some of them, they have no clothes. There's no food. Where are they going to stay? Right? So we need to help them, and people are like, wow, they've already, they committed a crime. How are we going to help them? But what you don't understand, and again, I'm speaking to specifically the guns and gangs subculture. I'm not speaking to any other crime. But again, each one of them, and I tell them this, each one of them, and I apologize to, because they were failed. They were failed as children. They were failed all the way up. They were failed by, either family system, the education system, health system. What they were failed. That I can guarantee you, right? And so, in order, we need to be able to help. Now they're going to be coming out of jail, right? They come out of jail. What's going to happen? How easy is it going to be for them to get a job?
Right.
And then it's like, okay, well, yeah, you can go work in the trades. Well, you know what? Yes, absolutely, you can. But that takes, you need to build
It's a
them
long
up.
process.
Yep, you need to rehabilitate
It takes
them.
waking up. It takes a lot of organization.
Yep. They need to, employers need to be trained on how to deal. Listen, we have 1 million individuals in the province of Ontario with a criminal record.
The familiarity with tools and being familiar with the tools and stuff like that needs to happen, like, definitely.
And it's not just
then you're
the
like, all right, it's
technical.
not so bad. No, I see
It's
it.
not just the
I see the
technical.
joy. Yeah.
Mini on Cam here says there's a fighter program in the U.S. says they train them, but they do not hire them after they are released. So they're giving them a skill to not they can't use.
Yep. And same thing in jail. The same thing happens.
They have a forklift program, but you can't use it unless it's CSC.
Wow.
You can't use your forklift. Like,
what's
you spend.
CSC? What's CSC? Just educate me on that.
Correctional Services Canada.
Okay.
Sorry, Correctional Service Canada.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
That's
how
crazy.
are they going to get jobs?
So, yeah. Unless you got a cool PO when you get out. Unless you got a cool PO, you gotta hack it yourself. You gotta find the resources yourself. I was just lucky to bump into Nelia.
Sorry, Jesse. One more thing I want to add to this is, when they do get out and they're on parole, we have some parole officers that are amazing and are doing it for the right reasons. We have other ones that will breach an individual because he can't get a job. Hello. So you can't get a job, that's it, you're going back in. Tell me how that makes sense. How many people can't get jobs right now? Right? And so what does that do for an individual who's trying his hardest?
You're supposed to maintain a bank. You're supposed to maintain a bank, so you need the money for, to cover your transactions and stuff like that. But if you don't have a job, it's going to become overdraft and overdraft and overdraft. So then they're like, okay, I need your financial records, because that could be one of your conditions. You have financial disclosure. So somebody that doesn't know how to use a smartphone has to keep going to the bank to get the paper. And if they're not satisfied with the one that comes from the bank machine, you gotta go and stand in line every time. Like, once again, this is a message to the youth out there. Do you really want to just be giving up your privacy, your Instagram password, your phone password? Like, so then when you're coming out and you're looking for employment, like, my suggestion with that is to definitely volunteer, so you're aware of certain things. Like, volunteer is okay for the first little bit, but like, when you're getting out into the kill center, they give you a little bit of money. It's been that price. It's been, $85 since 1999. And look at so how far are you gonna get with $80 at, No Frills or Sobeys nowadays?
Yeah.
Every week. So that's just that experience. So there's people that are just off the street. So for a man that's just out in the postal code, basically, just out in the L6T area or something, right? Like, how do you get resources? How would you go out to get anything popping? Like, there's plenty of, like, you're looking at the season, you're gonna have to look at any type of trade, laborers, landscape, and things like that right now. So, but also, like, slowly, once you get in your checks, you're buying those tools because you're learning trades, you're experiencing doing service calls, repairs. There's Jobber, there's Nextdoor. All those things are advertised service calls. People need things moved. People need lawns done. Collect your dollars, collect your coins.
Listening to both you, it would make me think that this system is made for people not to succeed.
100%.
Yeah.
And
100%.
it's a business.
100%.
Definitely. Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, it's a certain demographic that's getting the short end of the stick here.
Why do you feel a certain group is being continuously exposed to this unfortunate reality? Or what is the reason? Sorry, let me put it this way. What is the reason for especially young Black men I look at that hamster wheel. It's like a hamster wheel. It's not stopping.
Yeah.
Again,
what's the reason
Like, that
behind
chance is not taken on these guys.
again, it's multifaceted, right? Without getting into major specifics, keep in mind it starts at the top, works its way down. They're just easy targets, right? And I don't like to work. I don't like label. I don't like to use the word disadvantaged. Sorry, Jesse. I'm sorry. I don't like to use the word disadvantaged, right? Because I'm a firm believer that, labeling actually adds to the psychology. Speaking frankly, I really think that, and I might get in trouble for saying this, but speaking frankly, it's almost like, when we hear the word racism, when we hear the word Black or disadvantaged or anything, and even when we hear things such as, or even see movies, if you really think about it, we don't want to ever forget history, okay? Because history is so important because it allows it not to repeat itself. Okay. But every time you see a movie, every time you see certain images, every time you use certain labels, what's it doing to the psyche of young Black men and women? It's almost like there's somebody at the very top that's saying, I'll keep you in your place. It's like the puppet
Just
master.
cackling.
You know, we need to empower.
Yeah.
We need to empower, right?
Yeah.
We need positive imagery. We need, that's what these individuals need to see. That's what everybody needs to see. We need positivity.
Yeah.
We can't focus on negativity. We need positivity. And all of them know this. It's like, I don't care what people say. I don't care what they make you believe. No, you don't have to go. You don't have to go work construction if you don't want to. No, you don't. Because you can go to school. Because you know what? As long as you're breathing, as long as you're determined, you can achieve anything you want to. I don't like people putting individuals into say, and I see this over and over and over again. And it can, that's from my lens. That's what I see as an outsider. Right. And you can, I mean, hey, people have told me you have no business working with, people in our community because you're not from our community. Well, guess what? I'm from the human race community. Right. And I care. And every single one of them will tell you, they know. I care about them. These are my kids. I don't care what color they are. But that's what I see in this particular, in the guns and gangs, in the GTA. Someone's always trying to put them in their place. Because if you see images of slaves, if you're constantly seeing these images, again, not to forget the history, but come on, let's put some positivity, like break out of that mindset and positivity, because you can achieve whatever you want to achieve. And don't let anybody tell you the color of you can't do it because of the color of your skin or because you've been in jail.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, definitely.
No, go ahead. So Jesse, let me ask you something. What's one of your dreams?
It was always the music. It was always the music. It was always even like deep rooted from young. My dad was a DJ. My mom was a karaoke singer. So I was always shy. I was like, how do they do this every night? Like I'd be watching them and then boom, because of us, I always felt like this guilt, like I'm in the world now, so you guys can't continue doing and enjoying your life. Like I didn't mean to stress you out, but I'm gonna bring the torch, bring my mom to at least LA, boom, Sophie Stadium, get my mom on stage and she'll hit that anthem. She did the medieval times. She was on the news today, singing on TV. So as far as we got, this has always been the dream. It's always to get into the industry. But I look at the industry nowadays. It's always been this way because we're seeing now. But that's been the dream. It's changed since I've been inside. So it's now I would prefer to look at a different way of getting people's fulfillment of overall life, like studying psychology. I did my second course now, so I did psychology 101, did developmental psychology. So the fulfillment stage of life that I'm entering right now, closer to 40, has no time for party and drinking and turning up and taking that risk of going to a party and getting shot down like that. So rest in peace to all those who came up and tried to really chase their dream in the city. What brought them back? I would say it's opinions. It's deep rooted thoughts that you have to make that move. It's because great grandfather made that move. Uncle did that move. In this type of situation, there's no reason to go and step if it's unnecessary, especially if you're not in that path and you're surrounding yourself with the right type of people in the community right now. So if you're a sportsman, you love sports, you got to be around the athletes. So I got to get back out and get around the artist right now if I'm trying to make it pop right now. The dream has changed. So it's right before me is what I'm saying to you right now. So to change lives and be there for people, you know, in that way of demonstration, in that manner of whether it's fiction, nonfiction, poetic, slap poetry, things like that, like getting that message across. But how do we refine this? How do we, refinish this? How do we make this look better? Because we got to be the tastemakers for this kind of stuff. We got a little flavor. We're on the vibe show right now. We got to change the vibes out here. Good vibes only. Some people are trying to make it grim.
Right. So Jesse, let me ask, what is your concern for those people who are in the gun culture right now? What's your concern for them?
That like that's not how you solve situations. And like I've learned how to lose to win. So I learned how to like sacrifice in order to win now. So like there's tight situations. Not every situation could be changed. That could just be how it's going to play out. But sometimes you have to watch yourself because like you could be into superstition and these things could be playing itself out, but you could also be playing yourself, playing them out in your own way, like you paving your own way negatively.
Thank you so much for taking the time to share with us today and listen to this epic conversation, and really important. And I don't think there's much more to be said, but I would say, hey, if you want to get involved in any way, especially in the GTA area, I do have Nelia's contact information, but you got to contact me first. But she's already got and if you got to go through me, then she's got someone else you got to go through. So she's got it deep on the bench. She's deep on the bench. So I want to say thank you for everyone who watches live or on the replay. Thank you so much. And it's a really important conversation. And you know what even makes it more important? This is not just a Toronto thing. I'm sure there's many cities around the world in North America where this is a concern. So this is not just a Toronto thing, family. This is a everybody thing. All right. So that's it. That's all. We are going to do this first. You can watch replays of this epic conversation on the Dr. Vibe Show YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and the Dr. Vibe Show website, the drvibeshow.com. As I said earlier on, you can do a few things also. Subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. We've passed 1,500 subscribers. We'd love to get to 1,600 subscribers if you are up to it on YouTube. Follow me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. If you want to advertise your product, business, or service on any of the platforms that I host, please feel free to email me, dr.vibe@thedrvibeshow.com. And if you want to get in touch with me, number of different ways. Website, the drvibeshow, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, the Dr. Vibe Show. That's the space dr period space VIBE space SHOW. Instagram, the drvibeshow. X/Twitter at drvibeshow. An email address, dr.vibe@thedrvibeshow.com. All right. As always, this is the way we finish off. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions, then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. And as always, don't just manage your time, manage your energy. And remember to give yourselves grace. We will chat with you soon. Soon, by the way. God bless. Peace to all. Keep the faith and walk good.